Come on now. You gotta give him his little bit of time. You know what I'm saying?
And he ain't gonna give up no time, Brett. He's a Dallas guy.
You gotta give him some time. You know what I mean?
Nah, I like McNabb, man. I like him until he started talking after he retired.
Yeah, for real, definitely lost some.
He was quiet. When he was good, when he was quiet, huh, Doug?
Right.
He was good, man. She used to kill the Cowboys. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah. McNabb was certified. He's a Hall of Famer, man. You know, he talk. He's off. You give him TO for them next 3-4 years. They win 2 chips. You know.
Yeah.
They ain't even. They just was getting started, man.
I just don't understand how they messed that up. I just can't really figure that one out.
Oh well, you know it's easy. You gotta have. I look at when you got a guy like To. I look at up top first. Like I know for a fact that because the one thing we ain't have to worry about with To was he wasn't into no shit off the field. So you winning right there. So now, if your owner and your GM knows how to smooth things out, you won't have no problems out of To. And that didn't happen in San Fran. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't happen in San Fran. Nothing ever went up top. Nobody had to make the threat to getting you up out of here.
You figure McNabb felt like he ain't had to appease him.
Yeah. Which is corny.
It's gonna take me. Hold on, guys. It's gonna take me a second. They changed the whole interface on this Facebook thing, so I got to figure it out real quick.
Which was corny because I'll say the story and I'll say it all the time. Magic said it best. He's like, listen, me and Kareem, we never hung out. You know, we never hung out, but I knew if I wanted to win, I'm gonna have to have Kareem, and that's it.
No.
And that's it.
That's the difference. Magic. He wasn't just the point guard. He was able to make all them personalities and stuff fit and work, so they would win.
Yeah, he had the personality for it.
Same way with Zeke on Detroit. You know what I mean? But McNabb, he couldn't. You know what I mean? He couldn't live with To what he was doing, even though To, everybody with eyes could see that he's making this dude, like this dude is certified with To. Right. You know what I'm saying? Certified, the team was certified, and he just couldn't get out of his way to say, you know what, man, we need to pay this joke. Yeah, he's an asshole, but we need to pay this joke.
He didn't know how to handle him. You know what I'm saying? He didn't know how to handle him. Like To needed a couple hugs, and you need to just tell him on a continuous basis, I got you, baby, I got you. We gonna get it right. I got you. That's all.
But you figure McNabb too, he was like passive aggressive, right? So he would act like I'm get into it, and then, oh yeah, we need to pay Westbrook. He's the best thing we got. You know what I mean? You just said you don't get into it. So To not stupid. He's looking at that, knowing that he coming at it, even though it's indirectly. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then the fans loved him. The fans loved To, and Matt couldn't handle that.
Yeah.
Just couldn't take it. You know what I'm saying?
Just win, baby.
Corny, man. That's corny, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when you're supposed to just want to win, you know what I mean?
That's the whole point about it. You just want, it's all about winning, no matter. And that's the whole part that you're going to have guys. Look, man, there was a couple guys on my high school team that I wouldn't trust with my car keys with my sister. But I made sure they came to school on Friday, so they be eligible on defense on Saturday morning.
You know you need them.
I need them because I wanted to win. I wasn't worried about that. It wasn't about
that position too, though, man.
Yeah.
That position, you either got that by your nature,
and
you ready to spread it out and be about winning, or you wanted to revolve through you.
Yeah.
Ab was a dude that really wanted to revolve through him, and that way.
You know what upset me more than anything was the Eagles. They had a veteran leadership team.
Yeah,
you know, like B. Dunk was over there, Trotter was over there, Hugh Douglas was over there. That's stuff that, you know, any other organization, we don't even hear about nothing because they handled it. They handled it over your house in the basement drinking.
Yep.
You know
cool. At the joint.
Nothing got to the media.
Yeah.
For some reason, that shit got to the media. Phil, that's the stuff I don't like, man.
I think when the QB though is the weakest minded dude in the room, that's what make it a problem. Like he really out of all them dudes you name, You know what I mean? Even if they sat down and talked to him and say like, "Yo, come on, man, look, we just trying to win," he's still gonna be on his little punk shit, like, man. But he keeps saying stuff about me, man. And, you know what I mean?
It was a whole culture flaw. I mean, you know, I take that all the way up to even the coach and the admin. Like, I just don't let that joint happen. If I'm Andy Reid, that doesn't happen in my space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just make sure T.O. gets his money and Nad feels good, and we figure out how to get this ring. But culture-wise, they just weren't ready for all that. It just happened too fast.
And we think the thing you know about T.O. is even if he would have got his money, it would have been something else.
Yeah.
You figure in Dallas, he got his money. Then it was Romo and Witten drawing up plays in the dirt, and they ain't throwing it to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think his main problem, T.O. was, and the Eagles, they guilty of this, is before he came, because he was winning the last year of his contract.
Yeah.
And they told him, "Oh, don't worry about it. We're going to get you your money. Don't worry about it. We got you." So now, you know, and when you're a top level dude, you need your security, period, you know? And he was a top caliber player that you're supposed to give him his security. You don't need to see him do nothing else on the field, you know? And I think when he went in there after playing on a broken foot in the Super Bowl, he went to the Eagles like, "All right, we talked about my money. Can we can we talk about getting paid? Because y'all told me I was gonna get my money." Well, guess what?
Cool.
There's 3 organizations right off the bat that I know that you can't do that: Pittsburgh, New England, and Philly.
Yeah.
You knock on somebody's door asking for money, they might try to trade you.
Yeah. Jonathan just jumped in. What I'm gonna do is give me 2 minutes. I'm gonna play the intro song, and then I'm gonna play the intro song. I'm gonna cut over to go live and play the intro song, and then I'm gonna hit y'all back up.
Yeah. On the bathroom floor. I don't know where it's coming from.
So I don't know how I broke the rules when John came in with his whole San Fran gear.
Doug was here. Let's meet. But yo, I just need about 2 minutes of silence because I can't separate the 2 audio feeds. But hold on for a second.
I'm out there tonight, man. Y'all wearing it.
Jonathan, we're going through the intro. You might have didn't hear, but.
Oh! He's here. He's here. Oh, shit. Yeah, he's here. Go with him, Jonathan.
cigar. You outside Fortune Center.
Sports Talk Live for the culture. We're here via Zoom during these quarantine times, but I still got my A1 participant list coming in via Zoom as we adapt and adjust to all the quarantine that's going on. My man Ron Duke, how you doing, sir?
What's up, brothers? How we feeling?
Good. Got Doug Scott back from hiatus. He's back. How you doing, Doug?
What's happening, good brother?
What's up? We got special guest, coach, athletic director, St. Joe's Pride, Penwood Athletic Pride, Rap Curry in the building. How you doing, Rap?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
How's it going? And we got Jonathan, longtime participator and contributor to Sports Talk Live for the culture. How you doing? We can't hear you, Jonathan. What are you doing?
Turn your audio on.
Turn your audio on or up, because we cannot hear you.
You muted, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, did we mute him? I might have muted him by accident.
It's you got me on mute.
Yeah, for reasons.
It show you got me on mute.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good out here, enjoying the weather. You
Yeah,
know?
it's a nice day. It's supposed to be 70 tomorrow. So
Yeah.
definitely the weather is turning, and we just gotta hold on and try to get our situation right in dealing with this COVID-19. But I wanted to bring together and talk. There's not a lot going on in the sports world, but one thing that has happened that I found very interesting, a HBO documentary entitled The Scheme. The Scheme is based on the New York Circuit Court that put out an FBI investigation on something as crazy as paying college coaches or paying college players. Interesting aspect of that in the sports world. We all know that's been going on for years, so that's nothing new. The show was centered around a young African American entrepreneur, Chris Dawkins, who was, in the game, as we say, been doing this since a very young age, very driven young man. He was in AAU sports, doing his own scouting thing from a young age of 14 or 15, and he was really participating in everything centered around the case around him. I want to go around, just Scott, before we get deep into it. What was your take on the documentary, Duke?
Well, honestly, one quote summed it up, and that was in the beginning. If y'all guys can recall, it was a quote by the great Jerry Tarkanian, UNLV running Rebels, and I believe the quote says something in reference to there are 9 out of 10 people, and the 10th man is in last place. So that right there, that quote itself tells you everything, right? Mm-hmm. So basically he was saying that, listen, everybody is doing it, and the person that's not doing it is guaranteed to come in last place. So that, I think that was like, in essence, a beautiful way to even start the film. Mm-hmm. Just to let people know, like, listen, this coach has national championships. He knows what it was in terms of the dollar and how much money that is in NCAA basketball. I think as the film went on, and like we said, everything that went on, it didn't surprise us, because we know we come from an era where things were going down and we knew about it, but we just turned a blind eye. Mm-hmm. I think now that we're in a day where you hear things like wiretaps, you hear feds, you hear things of that nature. So it kind of changes the game. Yeah. But I think what I got out of the film was, big business. And it lets you know, in terms of big business, you heard about the money that was thrown around. So you talk about $150,000 to $200,000, like it's $20. That was the nature of the language in this film. So it makes you say, like, wait a second. Somebody gives somebody 200 grand, and guess what? Last I checked, if that recruit comes to play for you, they only have to stay 1 year and leave. Mm-hmm. So you didn't pay somebody $200K so they can leave in 1 year. So that lets me know how much money you have, in essence. And because you're going after all those guys, the top 5 guys, the 5-star guys, they can get $200K a pop from you. You got that type of money for kids to come to your school and to leave in 1 year. You can give 4 of those guys each $200K and for them to leave. So that lets you know how much money is involved in this stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's the take I got from it.
Definitely. Doug, what was your take on it?
For me, man, it was crazy that they went after the young black dude, and like he said, he didn't steal any money. All he did was basically pay the players, which isn't illegal, right? It's not illegal for them to give them. Now that makes them ineligible, but it's not illegal.
Not a federal crime.
Right, it's not a federal crime, and he got 18 months, whereas the dude that swindled people out of millions and millions and millions of dollars and kicked this whole thing off because he wanted to cut a deal and not go to jail, end up getting no jail time and probation. And like the dude that ended up going to jail was the young black dude who was basically, paying the players really their rightful due, making sure they getting their rightful due out of all the money that's being made. So that I took that from that the government actually looked at this case and said, well, they originally started out trying to take down the high profile coaches, but then all they ended up doing was taking down a middleman, a runner, basically, and let a Ponzi scheme dude that swindled people out of millions of dollars to make a movie.
Yeah, I didn't see that movie either. The one with
terrible movie. Like dude said, he swindled people out of all of them millions of dollars to make a movie. Yeah, and ended up getting no time because he told on this guy, right? Technically, didn't even commit a crime.
Yeah, and I think crazy. And I think I saw from it was they're looking for big names. They're looking for headlines. They're looking for try to make the career. Okay, I the guy that got Rick Pitino. I was on that investigation type thing. I got Sean Miller. I got Rick Pitino was the head guy because he's been in it for years.
The thing is, though, they had him. Yeah. But they didn't. They chose not to go. They had them guys on tape, basically admitting that they gave the players the money. They offered these guys this money.
Wilson, yeah.
And they didn't. And
I'll get back to that because it seems like somebody made a call. This thing. Somebody made a call. Was like, nah, we not playing this game. That call came in, and just do what you're gonna do and move forward. Mr. Curry, you've been in there. You're a big time college recruit. You went to St. Joe's. We're not gonna ask you any bad questions. We don't do that here.
Yeah, don't make me tell because I might tell.
Statute of limitations is going anyway.
There you go.
So definitely, as being involved in it from many aspects, you as a player coming up, as an athletic director, as a college recruit, what was your overall take on the HBO documentary, The Scheme?
I thought it had a lot of honesty.
Yeah.
It was great. Like they recorded the whole thing real.
Yeah.
And truthfully, you're right about the call thing because his phone popped up with Sean Miller's number, bringing across. So how much tape do they have?
Yeah.
Right? So when you're talking about that level of game and the transparency they were talking about, how much tape did they have of people that were out there? And you're talking about big time programs, right? You're talking about programs, universities that's getting $165 million. Like
yeah.
the money that's involved is what we don't really pay attention to. And that's the thing that I would tell you as an AD and a person from high school that facilitates kids. I mean, obviously, there's a part for the regular guy, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who got a wrestling scholarship and they getting almost, they get in school almost for free or whatever. Like, it's a good look. Can't really hate on that. I got to push for that. But I know when I toss you a recruit, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, y'all win the conference title.
Yeah.
And you getting that 7-figure contract. Like, I've had a couple coaches that I know I've tossed recruits to that came back and got 7 figures. Like, who owes who some bread?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's business.
Yeah.
But we chalk it because that's the way the system is. And I think the number one thing that comes out to me is the amount of wealth that leaves our community. And that would be the conversation that I would have with some others, that around the business. They're like, the amount of money that leaves your community is ridiculous.
I think Chris Dawkins had hit it very early in the documentary when he was a young person. He's saying all these people, recruiters, sneaker companies, all they're coming to the community is to get these African American athletes. And he said, I realized very early the value of the African American athlete. Because all these people, from agents to shoe companies to coaches, everything, coming round the way to get these kids to better themselves and better their lives. So if you can be in a position to broker that, there's a market, there for you to make some cash. And it just seems like
here's a real story right here. And when I tell y'all this story, because I know the era we come from, we know that we must keep things tight. So, but so, going back now, I'm in New Jersey and I'm in the gym, right? So I walk in the gym. So when I first noticed, when I'm coming in the gym, I noticed that, wait a second, the day that I'm going in, it's like, I'm like, this is around gym hours, right? So I'm looking, there's no cars like it normally is. So I get into the gym and I look from afar and I see the number one recruit in the country, right? And then I'm like, man, this guy's over here, but something just don't feel right. And I turn around, here goes the number one probably college coach in the country in the same gym.
By accident.
Oh, just by accident. So I look at myself and he looks me dead in the eye and I'm like, I gave him the look like, what you doing here? And then he looked back at me and started smiling while we looked at the top recruit shooting basketball at the gym. So that's when I said to myself, I was like, yeah, it's on. And how about, I probably don't need to be here right now. How about I come back later? So that was thing that I saw with my own 2 eyes, Definitely. So it lets you know the severity of and the extent on how things got to get done out here.
The dollars that are at stake.
The dollars that are at stake.
Jonathan, what's up, man? What was your take on the scheme?
I don't know. Y'all hear them birds chirping in the background.
I've been running the sound. I've been muting you out.
But it was definitely a nice picture. It was definitely something that I'm glad you had sent it through the line for us to watch it. It was definitely a nice picture. Like the thing they was banking on the black man fold. You know what I'm saying? Even though he got a little shook. He got a little shook.
Yo, good TV.
Yeah.
He said, I was almost naked in there when I realized that what was really going on. He got a little shook, but as he really gathered himself, he got himself together. And but this the part that some businesses I don't be liking, like as far as like when people lack like that street in them. Somebody, he should be getting some money somewhere to have 2-3 lawyers with him, because he had the mouth. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So if you Louisville coach, I know you can. There's no way you can get it to him, but he can drop this. He can drop this bomb on everything, and he didn't.
but he didn't get no help. That's what I was like a little upset about. That nobody helped him. Like he had the $90,000 in the bank, and that went to lawyer fees and him trying to live the last 2 years.
And there wasn't no money.
Yeah. Right, that wasn't no money. He had to pay his lawyer $50,000 up front, probably. You know, so that wasn't no money, and then he had to go back to court. So that $90,000 went quick. You know what I mean? And that was the part he didn't get the help that I thought he should have got. You know, but for him holding it down, because they put their case on him. All right, once we get him, he gonna tell.
It's gonna be a domino. This is gonna be a domino effect. They figure they get him to and turn and all those tactics. And I know from just I'm not gonna say any names, but I know different people that have done accounting in Chester and done taxes for different areas, Philly and stuff like that. Minor figures. But when the government comes for you, they come for you dramatically, like you El Chapo, like you want like some 16,000 when it's all said and done money you might have got. That's the way they come for you to make it look spectacular. Like they're doing something great. And
like he said that. Didn't he say that when they locked him up? He was talking to one of the guys. He was like, El Chapo's upstairs.
He was like, "We coming to get you, to intimidate you and scare you, and change." I don't know, for some person that was actually sick. The person was in their 70s. They was old. They actually had him handcuffed to the bed in the hospital because when they came in there with the guns and stuff like that, he fell out. what the heck's going on? Like, you know, he's 70 years. You know, he got a little pressure. He got a little sugar. So he fell out. So they actually had him handcuffed to the bed. Like this guy was like the mass super criminal. So that part of watching is like, yeah, that's exactly how it goes down. But the other interesting part, and I think the overall aspect of it, and I said this, I always say this a lot when you're talking about sports, I got more respect for the guys who make sure their cats get taken care of in the coaching ranks. Because if you look, if you're at a mid-major, if you're at Middle Tennessee State, and always saying you got a kid that's giving you 15 and 8, and he's a solid kid, he's going to get a Middle Tennessee State degree, but his 15 and 8 in leadership that pulled this team together, then got y'all to the Sweet 16 and the Great 8 his junior and senior year, and now you're looking at Georgia coming to pay you millions. And then once you get to Georgia, Adidas is going to be there to pay you more millions. Now this kid has helped take you from a mid-major to generational wealth. You gonna definitely make sure he get taken care of. That's just the name of the game. That's just being a human being. Like on some levels, I don't see, and I think the biggest thing comes back to the NCAA and the shamateurism. And I mean shamateurism because it's not really, once you start getting into the big time college athletics and the $1 billion contracts and the championship game starting at 9:30, you're legitimately a pro league. Like you know, like your championship game starts at 9:00 at night, so you can make sure you get all the TV revenue. That's the interesting part to me, that more people aren't playing this game. And I think a lot of people do play it. We all know players get paid or whatever. But I think they were just going after Rick Pitino and coaches as a headline type of thing in order to bring themselves some notoriety. That court, that justice system brings down a lot of, you know, players and people that are headlines in society. And I think they were looking at the same thing. And like Jonathan said, that they thought that he would fold under the pressure. But the other thing that's legit I want you to comment on is that it's all our money. It's all taxpayers' dollars. And the thing about it, they take taxpayers' dollars for college basketball corruption. Like it just seems like, and they were throwing money around. Like he's saying top suites, the whole 9 yards. It seems like are we going to do a sting operation? Or we're going to do it. We're going to do it right. We got an unlimited paycheck.
One thing that got me though, fellas, was, you know what I was looking for in the picture when they started talking about, you know, FBI and wiretaps. I was looking for the real money. I didn't see any real money. Yeah. We weren't talking about millions of dollars. Yeah. You hear, you know, he was calling up. That's no different than each one of y'all right now. If everybody's here is coaching a Division 1 level program, and I'm actually meeting with like investors, and because I started a company, I just need y'all to show up, right? I wasn't giving y'all any money. It was like to make sure I get on my feet because I can catch y'all later. You didn't hear them talking about, okay, you know, it's at least $5 million in the suits that we're going to get. It was never to that extent. That's why I was surprised. It was like, wait a second. They putting together an operation, and this man met with somebody for $13,000. This man met with somebody for a player to get $125,000. Not him getting $125,000. The player getting $125,000.
Yeah.
So what are you making off of that for? If they guaranteeing to give the player 125 to 150, what are you making off of that? You're not making 150.
But see, he was hoping he was going to sign them later when they go pro to his management company and then get the rep. That
right. But that's cool. But you can't lock me up or put me under fire for what you think's going to happen later.
But true, even in that's not illegal. They said they made up the law saying that they had to put the coaches as employees of the state. They are employees of the state. So once you're giving them money as an employee of the state, case in point, if you gave me money for a contract at William Penn, then all of a sudden that's bribery. You're bribing a public official. Like I'm in charge of a school and this like that, or you make. So they kind of twisted it, and they said the clutch was you hurt the school, you bribed somebody, and you hurt the school by making one of their players ineligible, which is a far stretch.
This what I found funny in that whole thing, right? Like you said, Louisville, they fired Pitino at the end of all this, right? And only reason was because basically the poor black kids and their parents is getting money that they don't think they should get because, like he said, they had the scandal where Rick Pitino in Louisville was bringing the whores in to have sex with the recruits when they brought them into the school. So they bringing the recruits there to get them to come to the program. They got these escorts having sex with these high school kids so they can entice them to come there. It all comes out. Nobody gets fired. Nobody goes to jail. No prostitution charges. None of that. Nobody.
And Rick Pitino's still coaching.
No FBI.
Yeah,
and he still got the coach. And it only came when it came to these young inner city kids and their parents is getting $100,000 or $200,000 because they can play ball. Then now it's a problem. Now we gonna lock somebody up. Now the feds is involved. But that other part, that you know what I mean, now the university wants to fire the coach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even though there was no evidence that he ever made any payments or even knew about the payments.
Yeah.
But it was evidence that he knew about them whores on the campus. But they ain't firing for that.
And plus, Doug,
you
got to take responsibility. It's funny, like, you got to take responsibility. You may not have known. If what they try to say, give yourself plausible deniability. Even if you don't have plausible deniability, you still got to be able to say, look, this is under my watch. But nah, I'm not going to step down. I'm a still coach. I mean, people been using friends of the program on recruiting trips since the beginning of time. So, and it's crazy. And like you said, it's and I think it's a thing about who's getting the money, because the money you're banking on a long shot. You're banking on, hey, we took care of this kid, make sure he ate well, his family ate well, his parents was cool, and everything like that during the come up. Now that it's time to come up, I'm gonna sign with them because these people have been taking care of me since day one. These are legit folks, and it's an investment. And like I said, like that seems like a legitimate investment. If somebody's 6'7" or 6'8" with some talent, you take care of them, and you make sure that they have ability and that they're good when it comes time to sign that contract. Okay, we got him. And you saw he had 2 first-round draft picks. He had Hood, and he had that boy that the Sixers took.
That's what he was on. He wasn't even 20 yet when he had them 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like he also said about like if Google said, you know, we want to get this high school kid still in high school, we want to come intern with us in the summer, and we're gonna give him $25,000 and have him intern with us, and then hopefully he'll come out and write code for us.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been a problem, But the NCAA want to have everything locked down so much, like they like a mob, man. Like, for real, like you're not gonna be able to play ball. You can't do this. You can't do that. And as soon as you want to make a move, it's like, oh no, if we got one person make a move, then what if somebody else do it? And what if somebody else do it? Now we lose all control. You know.
But they doing it anyway.
Yeah, they doing it anyway. They're making moves anyway.
My thing is this though, with the whole thing, and you look at, because the problem I have with it is, okay, all right, Doug, you're a 5-star player, right? Everybody is not offering you the 150. It's only about 10 tops, right? So guess what? If Louisville wants to offer you 100, Kentucky wants to offer you 125, Michigan wants to offer you 150, Michigan State wants to offer you 175, so what? Just stay paying a price for you.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to give you $1 million, right, to come to your school. Nobody's going to give you $500,000 to come to your school. So if they give you 150 to 175, even to 200, so what? You just made 200 grand off of you, right? You didn't rob a bank. Somebody wanted your services.
Yeah.
Come play. What is wrong with that? And somebody
let's not forget the scholarship is not guaranteed if you get hurt, right? Right? If you get hurt, they can wipe that thing away, right?
It's 1 year at a time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not even. So when they talk about that whole 80, that whole scholarship, that's not even fully guaranteed. And I'm not staying. I'm not even gonna go to school.
And
tuition waivers.
Yeah. Right. So the thing about it is interesting is that you liberate that when you're coming and looking at these players and colleges and universities are coming to look, they're seeing the ability to what they're going to benefit out of it. They're if you look at the movie, on another HBO movie, Something the Lord Made, he was beneficial because he could help them with them heart transplants. And so when money time was there, we gotta go get him. Like, I'm trying to do this operation. We gotta go grab him up. So basically, they're not coming around the way to the hood to get the kid that's best in math. He's like, this guy got some potential. Like some do maybe, but they're really spending money on these youth because of the money that it brings in. It brings in money maybe 100 times fold. I mean, you're in a big time. If you get into a big time conference and get to share those type of revenues, it's a lot of money going in. Like the tournament brings like $93 million for schools, even more like that. It's
more than that. If I could jump in there, it's a couple things. Like that was the hardest thing for me personally, being at the college level. Like really, like it really brought my African Americanism out to a whole nother level, because everybody that you're dealing with is white.
Yeah.
And so while I didn't really have a problem with the people, you just look at all the people that are getting full-time checks.
The landscape.
Playing basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And and being able to have their kids go to school for free.
Yeah.
Right? So there is just a whole nother level. So when they start talking about taking that 200 grand from us, they're really looking at all these other jobs, right, that are created, from the media person to the equipment trainer to all the way through jobs that don't go to us.
PR.
Right? And so, so we're talking about an industry that is built off of us, where we're kind of scrounging around, kind of what John was saying, for really nickels and dimes at an early level, hoping to hit a home run, which was the crazy part of the Chris Dawkins thing, because if he hadn't messed up the Uber thing, he'd have never got caught.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that put him on the map. That put him on the map.
He got caught for like 50 grand.
Yeah.
And that's cats burning them Ubers. Like, that wasn't like, and that's the stuff that happens to us, right? Like, you get put in this position, you cheating the system, but you not, you breaking some laws, right? Like his point was great, which was, I was operating without any rules. That's true. But he got banged out of the agency because of the Uber situation, and the agency didn't want him to be a part of it. So therefore,
Because a black eye would have been put on their name.
They could have wiped that. They could have wiped that off clean. And that's the other part of the situation for me. Like one of my quiet things was I've done consulting for sneaker brands, and that's the real where like people don't see where the money moves.
Yeah.
And like they banged, like the hard part of the situation was they got the brother coaches who didn't have no money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They're underpaid.
They got Adidas who slapped a couple like ringers on the hands.
Yeah.
And the business just kept going.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part of this equation, which is there's so many parts to it. So when you start talking, I'm tossing 50 grand, somebody might make 5 million, or I'm tossing 150, 200 grand, it's chump change.
Yeah. And I think one of the parts he said, which was key, that Dawkins said in the conversation, he was like, look, if one of these black coaches get caught doing something, they'll never coach again. Like, he said, look, if they get caught in any kind of thing, any kind of mess, any kind of hang up, they're never going to coach again. And that's just
is real.
Which is real.
Think about the kind of dude that Dawkins is, right? Like Rap just said, they could have fixed that 47,000 Uber thing. It was a misunderstanding, maybe pay it back, whatever it was. They could have fixed that, right? But they wiped him away because they didn't want that stain on them. Yeah. Yes. But then when he go to court, besides Rick Pitino, the main dude they wanted was the agent that he was working for,
Miller,
and he stood up for him, even though dude pushed him out in the cold.
Yeah.
Even though when that Uber thing happened, dude pushed him out, didn't take care of him, didn't stand up for him. He stood up for dude on that end with the feds when he could have buried him because he knew everything.
Yeah.
He knew everything, but he didn't do it. So I think that he landed on his feet with the record company or whatever at the end. I don't believe that was a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? I believe that some of them powerful people that know that he could have buried them, made some phone calls and made sure that, hey, this guy landed on his feet. It's a good dude. Yeah, he did this or whatever, but come on, man.
He was a stand-up guy.
We check somewhere else where ain't nobody gonna really.
So the fact that he landed on his feet like that, and then the fact that the time he didn't, that he didn't get, and because you heard the dude at the end, the dude Wetzel said, so now you basically made it a federal crime if you do something that causes a player to be ineligible.
Yeah, like I have a pizza shop and say, yo, take those 2 slices of pizza. Don't you just scored 2 touchdowns. You scored 2 touchdowns a day. Here's those 2 pies, man. Don't worry about it. That's a federal crime.
You going to indict the local pizza man? Come on, man. Come on, man. So it's crazy, man. That whole thing was crazy.
What they don't want to say is that's American business, and it's just business, period.
Yeah.
Listen, how many times have you been told growing up, if you get straight A's, I'm gonna give you a couple dollars.
Yeah.
I remember my younger brother, coming from a sports family. Now I'm in college, and he's a top tier athlete coming out of on the East Coast. I remember vividly telling him coming home from college, listen, each touchdown you get $25. Like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, we all do that.
Yeah. So now, now you talking about me with, I'm not sitting on a corporate level.
Yeah.
So I don't have the dollars to give to my brother, but what's the difference, right? I'm sitting around with a couple $1 million. Either it's Doug, Rap, Sunni, or Jonathan has the game of their life at the college. I'm an alumni too, right? You scored 3 touchdowns. You have 30 points. We went in overtime while I'm on campus.
Yeah.
Night is yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt.
So they made that a crime. They made it a crime for me to treat you for exhibiting great athletic behavior along with being at a great academic institution. Now I rewarded you. We went shopping. I spent $1,000 on you, and I gave you $1,000, and I'm a millionaire. So what's wrong with that?
Yeah, it's crazy because I deal with federal grants, and when I write them and apply for them, and they have specific rules that you can't do anything like the companies can't do anything for us. It's basically really, really strict. They try to lock down, like, before, like, when they would go to a Sixers game, you'd be in the suite. Like, for this one grant, they can't even do that now. Like, it's like you can't do any. It's a dollar amount. It may be $40. I mean,
that's the thing that gets me now. It's like, okay, if you cut the green out of it, because that's what it's about, the green. I can't even send you away for a 7-day trip in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
There's no cash exchange.
Yeah,
you know,
value. Yeah, you're right, dude.
They can't hanging out. There's no cash.
Yeah, they can't invite you to anything if they want to be a part of that specific grant.
Yeah, but let's talk about the other thing. Boy, that got no time. He really set everything up. Like, that stuff wasn't even existing until he got jammed. He made
he created
the coaches. He even made the coaches get a check. Like, that was never even part of the situation. Like, he created everything and act like it was already going on. I mean, it's already going on, but it wasn't going on in his company.
Yeah, because the coaches aspect of it, and I think Dawkins was 100% right. The coaches want to keep their players. They don't want their players really going pro, unless you really, really, like the late great Mark Aguirre said, and it was very. He had the Mark Aguirre teams back in the '70s, the one that won the national championship, and he had Maurice Lucas on the team. He had another player on the team. And he said, he looked very honest. He said, look, after 2 years, he said, son, you're going pro. Yeah. And the guy was like, right. He said, nah, look, man. I looked at my refrigerator, and I looked at your refrigerator when I recruited you. Nah, you going pro. Like Mark Aguirre was like a realist. Like, he wasn't like, those cats was like, he was keeping it 100 in a bean. But most coaches want the players to stay. Like, I always talk about the whole Warren Sapp issue and smoking weed. The head coach of Miami football team that time, if Warren Sapp puffing is 3 sacks, 2 turnovers, the head coach gonna be like, did Warren get his weed? Because like, he gonna be asking around, did Warren get make sure he get the good stuff. And I'm not worried.
Hey, listen. How about that's all it was? Cause we okay, we good.
Cats on steroids. The coaches ain't worried about that because people are trying to win, and the wins equate to big time generational wealth.
Yeah. Hey, Rap, where was you at, Rap? What college was you at?
St. Joe's.
Oh man, I hate to drop this bomb, but so you probably know the lady. The lady gotta work for St. Joe's. I don't know if she there now.
Watch out now. Watch out.
The lady gotta work. Listen. I see. I'm from Chester. I seen this same lady with 4 athletes from Chester out the mall. They grabbing everything off the rack. They grabbing everything. And
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Because they could have been paying for it.
Watch out, Jonathan.
Look, it was a white lady. Look, and they grabbing everything off the rack. And in the last one, he graduated in 06. So y'all probably know the basketball player that graduated in 06, But he was with her. And I said, damn, because I knew him from back then with my homies. Latif and them was with her. And Jim and them was with her. Hold up. I remember this lady. You know what I mean? I remember this lady. And so it's always been around. You know what I mean? Those people always been around. Yeah.
It's a friend of the program. But let me tell you something, John. There's nothing wrong with a young person wanting to reward great academic performance in an urban area. But go ahead with a trip to the mall.
And that's what I told him. He said, man, you got the money. I said, man, look, you going pro. He said, why you say that? I said, because you with her. I said, you with her. I said, you going pro. That's what I told him. He didn't go pro. He's still balling, though. Everybody know who he is. I'm going to keep it like that, though. But I'm like, yeah, he went overseas. But I'm like, you going pro. You know what I mean? He's like, why you say that? I said, because you with her. Like, I only seen her with certain basketball players. And they all are, they retired. You know what I mean? Retired basketball players. Jerseys in high school. So I seen it happening. And so when I watched this, I was like, damn, that had to be the lady was probably on his level, like as the runner, I guess they call him. You know what I mean? As the one taking the kids, grooming the kids, you know what I mean, for the later on in life. Now I don't know if it was to go to the college or it was to get the agent. So I don't know which one it was.
You might be digging a little too deep.
It's a lot.
Listen, this lady don't just pop up. Like this lady, she only pop up with certain. Yeah. Everybody she with is black basketball players. She white. Like
we can talk later, man.
Hey,
that's for after dark.
We can talk later.
Yeah.
The whole thing about it is that there's so many resources that a university has.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not just the people who are trying to help you that might have semi-good intentions that might look out, but there's the alums.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Use that, because I'm gonna tell you, when I popped out with my car freshman year, everybody's like, "You getting paid?"
Yeah.
I get a deal to get that car. Sure enough, got a deal. You know what I'm saying? But it's one of those things where it's like there's just so much money in it. You know what I mean? So I'm laughing and joking, right, about the whole fraud thing, because my daughter was in theater. So after the show, we all at Casey's. The kids coming to Casey's. I send money over to the table for the table. But see, she in theater. Don't nobody worry about the theater kids getting no money. But if that would have been a team full of All-Americans, it'd have been like, I'm giving them money, right?
Yeah.
So it's just we have to recognize that there's so much money in it and how we can bring it back to our community. And that's the mainstay. Because really, when you sit down and you talk with people who run organizations on all levels of sports, there are people making hundreds of thousands of dollars every year off of something that they couldn't do.
Yeah.
We would never pick them up. They could never get a run.
Yeah.
They couldn't even come out to the courts and sit there and watch the game for free.
Yeah.
They're afraid of you, though. That's why they got him. That's why they had him doing the groundwork. They don't even want to be around you, really.
Well, that ain't why they had him doing it. It's just that, he the access.
He had the relationship.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Jonathan.
There's a lot of it's a term. It's called, and I know about it specifically. They call it brother speak.
Yeah.
Yo, can you speak to the brothers? I tell you one time, like when I was working at Chester Upland, that's where I started as an engineer, and you had the charter schools just popping up, and they were getting internet from Widener also. So I get a call, and Widener was great. Widener always helped me out. The people there, Perry Dreyfus, all their staff, they was more than wonderful. They would come help me with stuff new in the game, past the demarc, and they would go past the point of demarcation where they had to help me and everything like that. But one day I get this call. They was like, "Soon, hey," I said, "What's up, man? What's going on?" He said, "Can you help us go over to Chester Community Charter?" And I'm like, "Dude, y'all know where it is." I'm like, and because it's right around the corner from Widener. I'm like, y'all know where it is? I'm like, y'all don't know how to. I'm like, y'all know. I'm like, y'all know how to get. I'm like, y'all know how to get there. I'm sitting in my office. I'm like,
in other words, you need somebody to feel comfortable.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm in my office like, well, it's right. You down the street and make you right there. Like I'm like, you right from where your office is on. I know where your office is on campus. You come out and make a left, right. You right there at Chester Community Charter, right where the school. He was like, nah, really, we're meeting with somebody over there, and we really would like you to come with us. So I'm like, but they good bulls though. So I'm like, all right, I'll come with y'all, whatever. And the way they looked out when big time people would come to their and take them out to lunch, they would always make sure I could go to lunch too. Like go to restaurants, go get whatever.
What you want.
Because it was like,
that's yours.
But it hit me when I was like, oh, okay. This dawned on me. I was like, you and Miss Speak. Okay, no, nah, y'all good dudes. I'm gonna run over there. I'll swing by and grab y'all. We go down to Chester Community and see what they talking about. Why come they can't get their internet on? Because I know it wasn't a technical issue. Because these are the bulls I'm leaning on. Like
running the process.
Yeah, it's all about the process, man. And we went into that before.
You don't even know it, and I know it.
And that's the tremendous part.
That's what made Christian Dawkins valuable. That's why I think he was able to, get the
I'm in it.
To put the things together that he had, because he was able to speak to the athletes, speak to their parents, you know what I'm saying? And then he also was educated enough to speak to the coaches on the other side.
Yeah.
So, and then he knew too early on that it's about fostering relationships, you know what I'm saying? And he fostered some good relationships, and we saw that when everything went down and nobody really said a word.
And Doug, that was the whole point. I mean, you talk about, and anything about life is about relationships, and he fostered those relationships, and he had the ability to be able to go in and handle the grassroots aspect of it, talk to the players, but also he can come up on a corporate side and handle that without any problems.
Couple things I ain't like though also was only like we said, all the black coaches got hit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, to me, if you gonna talk, you know what I mean. They was caught on the tap, but only the black coaches got hit. That's what I hated because we trying to get in there.
Yeah.
And now you done knocked 4 black coaches. You done knocked the black Adidas man off. Like, we got hit harder in that whole exchange than everybody else. So I didn't like that part.
But you figured that was his team, though. They was the dudes he was close with. That was his end.
Yeah, and I think it was an aspect of him just wanting to get them paid. Like he was like, look, we're not gonna give no money to the coaches. That's dumb. But look, if they dumb enough to pay coaches, we'll just take the money off the table and keep it.
Right. So he basically like, you my man. So it's like me saying, hey, Rap, Sunni, Duke, John, look, go meet with this dude and then entertain him for 10 minutes and we out.
Yeah.
But you ain't even
we gonna go hit the strip.
Yeah.
We gonna go hit the strip and I'm gonna pay for everything.
Yeah.
Vegas on me this weekend. Just go meet with this dude for 5 minutes. Vegas on me this weekend. That's basically what he did.
He was making sure everybody ate because it was all on the point where he was like, look, let me make sure my people eat. This is a dumb plan. This guy got some money. He wanna throw different stuff at him. I'm gonna make sure my people eat. I think that's where he came from. It was kind of like they was gonna treat my man like they treated Stringer Bell on the Wire. They was gonna string him along and juice him and get the money. Like they was like, this and that and that, and they're all playing the game. That was the same thing they was gonna do to this cat. They was like, look, paying coaches is stupid. It makes no money. He don't want to listen to me. But at the same time, I need financing for my agency. So
at the end of the day, he would have got, if he was a real legitimate businessman, he would have got a return on investment. It just wouldn't have been the way he wanted to do it through the coaches.
Yeah.
It would have been the way Christian was doing it. And I'm realizing him in his mind is saying, man, once I start giving this dude this money, he ain't gonna care how I went about getting it. Not realizing that, it was a Fed. They trying to.
He said, he was like saying, long as he believes we doing it his way, and at the end of the day, I got the money, I got the players, and we getting a return on investment, we getting an ROI, we good. That's what I think.
I tell you what was crazy to me was when his phone rang and her phone rang.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. His phone rang with Sean Miller. Her phone rang with his. He was click on answer and listen.
You know you fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
He was like, damn, you got me.
You know you fucked up, right?
That right there was crazy.
Yeah, but that was the whole point. Like when you look back at it, it was like, man, you just trying to wow. And in that moment, and I think the whole situation for them is that's the pressure they get you to pop. They come in with they come in with the guns on you. They throw you somewhere with El Chapo, and they like, oh, this guy gonna turn. We gotta turn the screws on him. Like we gotta put him in a place where
that was to get Rick Pitino on them though.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. He might have should have gave up the other bull, man, because if he would have gave up the other bull, it wouldn't have been look right. Him going in, he wouldn't have been going to that rap and being running the rap stuff the way he is, because he would have been looked at as a snitch in a way. So that helped him out, him holding the ground in that whole situation, being in the rap world, because that's what they want.
You could best believe that dude Andy Miller threw some bread behind him, whatever he was trying to do after that case was over.
Yeah.
But what I ain't like about Andy could have paid that, like we said, Andy could have paid that $40,000 before it even got somewhere. When Uber contacted the basketball player and said, look, you got this outstanding balance, he went and contacted Dawson right there. He went and contacted him. Andy should have paid that before he even got anywhere.
But at the same time, you looking at your associates with like, yo, but see the part about it, we in a social media era now. Like all that information gets out unprecedented like it did before. 25 years ago, 30 years ago, you don't have the channels to channel that out. If 5 or 6 people know about it, they're tweeting about it or sending it like, yo, my man just got So, and then reporters get a hold of it. So it's not like 25 years ago where they could have dead the thing. Like, look, we got. First of all, you don't have even Uber 25 years ago. Like, you got a bill that hasn't been taken care of. We'll take care of it. Okay, we'll take care of it.
Andy got a lot of dimes in the game.
Yeah.
So that 50 was just a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he was just on his like, you know, I got too many hundreds out here. You know what I mean? We're gonna bump you off. And there's the Players Association. That's why I think he's trying to get the whole suit reduced or eliminated so he can get back into basketball. Yeah. Because obviously he didn't prove that he can make moves in the game. Yeah. He's got to be able to get back into the Players Association. Get the charges dropped. Yeah. He'll be able to get back in that game. And I think that's what's going to eventually happen. I think that's why he didn't switch. Because he was on there like, look, I can get all this taken care of. I only did 18 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can get all this taken care of. I get clean. By the time I'm 30, I'm back in this game killing it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think ultimately the same people that made that phone call to stop Sean Miller and Wade, whatever his name is, from getting pulled in. I think they made the call to let my man know, listen, stand tall. This how much time you gonna get. Yep. 5 years from now, we gonna clear your jacket. You behind the scenes anyway. Yeah. Ain't nobody gonna know that you know what I'm saying? You back in the drink making moves. And this will be done. As a matter of fact, you're gonna be seen in a better light because everybody gonna know that you the dude that stood up with the pressure.
You 100. Yeah. And you can do whatever you want to do in the meantime. You just can't do this. So you want to be rap? You want to get in the rap game? Don't worry about it. 5 minutes after your case, we got a spot for you already. You know what I'm saying? And then,
go ahead.
Let's talk about homie that spent so much bread they got rid of him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
the FBI, but that was the whole point on the FBI investigation and the FBI. The whole point about where they take tax dollars. Like, we could have done this thing really at a Marriott. And made it look more legit by look we trying like we could have done this joint at a Marriott or what's it called over breakfast buffet in the corner and made this joint.
This joint bully at the Drexel Grill.
Christian was saying that like, yo, this too much. Man. We need this sweet up here. We wasting money.
The yacht. Let's not forget the yacht and everything else. You know?
Yeah. He started believing it. He became Tupac and Juice, man. He started.
He was in too deep.
Yeah.
He started believing he was really that dude.
Telling you, man. You just gotta keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. He was like, so when they take him, like when we had we're doing a sting operation, and you filling out the expense report for the federal government because they taking tax dollars money, and it's like crazy, and it's like my dad used to say, when you're working with the government, nobody owns the store. So nobody owns the store, so you really don't have debits and credits and everything. You got balance. So if we want a sting operation, well, hell, we might as well do this. I'm gonna be like, look, we might as well do this in Brazil. Look, I'm gonna fly Rat, Doug, Duke, Johnny.
Guess what though? I was in Vegas when that happened. I was in Vegas.
Okay.
I was in Vegas when that happened, when that summer league was going on. The basketball player from Chester was there. The one that's playing right now in the league, he was there. I ain't saying he was there. He was balling.
That wasn't the summer league. That wasn't the NBA summer league. That was the AAU. That was the AAU joint.
Not the
NBA joint.
I was at the NBA joint.
For the young boys.
Yeah, that was for the young boys. So that's the up and coming players. Cause they looking for up and coming players. They're looking for up and coming players. Yeah, that's where the money's at. So it was funny to me. I was like, yeah, like this, like that's why Chris is interested in Dalton. He's like, I don't want to mean the stereotype. Is this guy in the mafia or whatever? Because why are we kicking out all this goddamn money? Like he's still, his mindset. This is still a business. We still gotta be able to make money over what we are expending. Their expenditures. The federal government was like, there is no expenditures. We're gonna go out here and have some fun. And look, I'm gonna grab $25K out the safe, and we gonna live it up tonight. Which was crazy.
And then him and the snitch, they was out there gambling after the whole situation.
And you darn sure know they went to the Bunny Ranch. They did some things. So all of a sudden, he's pulled off the investigation, and you don't even know who this cat is. Like it was very interesting and telling when one of the heads of the investigation didn't testify in court. So
Absolutely.
So
the main piece of the investigation.
So so whatever they did in Vegas is supposed to stay in Vegas.
They leaked out.
Even
helped him though.
Yes.
That helped. It was like crazy. I was like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. How you not gonna pull the lead guy in the investigation, the bull that was on a yacht? They put $50K on the table. So whatever I got for me, if I'm ever in a business deal and somebody put $50K on the table of cash, I'm probably gonna walk out because I'm probably gonna be like, "Yo, this seems too good to be true." I done seen this story before. Like, you know, when cats got an unlimited supply of money and are freely willing to spend it, just doesn't seem right. Because, you know, business people that make that kind of money, they literally on the stingy side. They're like, look, I need to count on where my dollars is going. Like, what we doing? Is this investment sign? Yeah. He's like, yo, all right, here's $50K, here's $13K. But it was funny, they put $50K on the table. What did they expect Chris to do with it? Like, they would like he was like
took it.
But he was like,
money going shopping.
I got $50,000. I got $50,000 on the table. Like, what am I? Like, you ain't gonna walk out with $50K in your pocket. Like,
I gotta go down to the casino see if I can turn this into 150.
I'll be like, see if the dice is hot. I don't know, but that was the funny part to me is when they put that kind of money on the table, and then Chris was like, once they got to Vegas, and then they had the suite, and then they had all the cash in the safe, and they were pulling it out. He was like, look, I'm just going to take the money off the table and we get together, we have a good time. But like Jonathan said, it was interesting that you had assistant coaches, African-American, and runners at that level that all took the hit. And hopefully and fortunately, they got taken care of too for holding their silence. Like, you know, I don't know.
Right.
What? I'm going to tell you, probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the hard part of the whole game in general for us. It's like, we got to walk this. They got us because they want us to deliver.
Yeah.
Right? And those dudes played their part. They didn't grab no money. They was having conversation in the background.
Yeah.
They knew something was fishy, but they looked out for their young bull because he was right. And, you know, but because of that, they took hits. And their careers is gone.
Yeah, but I think a lot of it
because of sitting down, having a conversation with somebody I knew for a little while, you know.
But I think a lot of it, I think a lot of it comes from we are undervalued, and when we're undervalued, we're underpaid. So when you get an opportunity to eat, like a lot of guys were like, shit, man, you know what I mean? Like, we winning these national championships. Sean Miller just got this Adidas deal, you know. I done got 3 to 5 players in the starting row here, you know, and nobody's hollering at me to be the face of their program.
Hey, listen.
Let me see if I get an opportunity to eat right now. I'm gonna eat.
Yeah, he got not only did he get the Adidas deal, he got the radio deal, he got the sneaker deal, plus he's making 7.5.
Yeah.
You know.
And then my man said, and we talk about Sean Miller. I got one of the guys on my technical team who played with Sean Miller at Pitt. He said he's the same arrogant guy that he's always been. And he was saying he gave
somebody let him know that it's okay to be that arrogant type of guy. That's what they did.
Yeah.
So when he went, somebody let him know that.
But the bull from LSU.
Because let me tell you something. If I'm in, all right, say we got Doug, we got Rap, we got Sunni, we got Jonathan. All right, all of us went to the University of Arizona. Right now, it doesn't matter the years we went. Some guys went pro, some guys didn't. But what I know is Doug sitting on about 5 or 6 million, Rap sitting on about 12 million, Sunni sitting on about 5, Jonathan sitting on about 7. I'm gonna get some top tier recruits just off of what y'all got, and it might cost me $100,000 to get what I need.
Yeah.
So you talking that's pennies compared to the kind of team that I got. You know what I mean? Pennies for me to get an 18-year-old.
Especially when Adidas is giving you $200 million.
Yeah.
So Adidas is giving you $200 million under the understanding that some of that money is going to go to get the best NBA players coming up in college to be wearing Adidas. They're like, I'm giving you $200 million to make sure the next Zion Williamson plays a year in Adidas. So when I
got a personal pot. Listen, I got a personal pot.
Right.
Just for what I want to do.
Yeah. Just
that don't have nothing to do with nobody else.
So you know it came from me.
Yeah.
Right? Just so you know that I broke bread directly to you. We're not talking about, Arizona got that Nike money. But we're not talking about what they got to do to make sure that brand. It's just it's about what I got to do. And you're right. He's been made to feel empowered to go do it, because here's the reality, right? For us older dudes in the room, hovering around that 50 or about 50, right? And so
that's me and you, Rap.
Yeah. so the reality of it is I'm not getting on the phone with somebody who's 21 and talking freely like that. There's no way I get a phone call and I talk about dropping money unless we drop money together, or you know how I get down and I know how you get down, right? There's no way that happens. And so for that conversation to go down, you know what it is.
Yeah, because he got him on her. He got Wade on her. So look, I offer big bread. You know what I'm saying? I offer big bread.
Yeah, he had it. Wait, the LSU coach was like, "Look, I didn't put up more for better players. You know what I'm saying? I put up less for like so like so he like so what's he talking about? Like let's go. I made a nice offer. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I mean like and like I said, like we talk about the conversation that came before. Like if you watch ESPN 30 for 30 for Marcus Dupree, the greatest to never do it. When his mom wanted a house, his mom got a house. You know what I mean? The house was brought to Marcus Dupree's mother. They was like,
the other side of the equation is how much money his football got.
Yeah, that's what he said. That. Yeah, he said that. Imagine what football Dylan playing with.
Yeah. UFC. How you got? Remember that year they had 4 or 5 running backs that could have went anywhere and started.
Ohio State and LSU every year.
Yeah, hey, listen,
every year.
Check this out though. It's a reason why you stay.
Yeah.
You like that steak and lobster. That's what you like. You're not going to the cab.
And that's the other point of playing college football. Like the when you go there and you got friends of the program and you win that Rose Bowl, you win that SEC championship, they take care of you. You know what I mean?
When the wide receiver comes back and throws real bread on the table and they tell you it's fake, and they tell you it's fake money, and we all see it's green. You know what I mean? It's all good. We gonna believe what we want to believe, and that's what they do. They keep telling us a story because there's something in us that wants to believe it's not like that. But the reality it is.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Until we can figure out a better wealth building plan and really figure out how to come together, we're just missing out on the fact that families are getting wealthy off of this system, and it's not ours.
And the thing about it is, if you look at a basketball team, the basketball players and the coaches that gets generational wealth off of those players that they get from a situation, and all those players aren't going pro, and we go down here and get a degree and still got to fight and scratch like everybody else with it. You find out that the game. And there's the game you play and the game that you play off the court. And the situation is now they're trying to, and with the scheme, it really was they wanted some higher up level players, and they went at the lower end guys and thinking they're going to turn over, which they didn't, which he didn't roll over with, which would made him mad. But how do we, as a community, where and you have to keep it 100. That's why I like keeping it 100. NCAA college basketball and the billion-dollar industry is made off African American males. I mean, that's what you keep it 100.
I'm waiting for you to lie,
Yeah. So that the whole industry is based off that. The TV contracts, everything. Going back, me and Rap when they made the Big East, when the Big East came available on TV and stuff like that. Pearl Washington, all these guys, Georgetown, all that's made off a lot of African American males playing, basketball with a dream and a hope, and as minor as it is, to get to the pro level. And how do you, as a community, take this ability to play basketball or skill sets and develop that where you get more money for yourselves and your community? That's the question. That, you know, when you look at the scheme and other thing, was like, yeah, the whole point that everybody else is just coming to the community, getting players, and stockpiling generational wealth over it, from trainers to PR people to everybody in the game. How do we take that ability and skill sets and generate wealth back in our neighborhood, in our communities?
Well, the hard thing is what I see what it is. It's so hard for us to get in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then for us to get in the game, we gotta. They value us. I wouldn't say they don't value us, but like you said, they make us so expendable. Like so, we can get the players, boom, 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 but then we're gonna be the first ones to take the hit as we coming up. Like so, that's the main hard part. All the black coaches, all the guys, the guy with Adidas, they were all coming up about to become them guys. You know what I mean? And now, as they're on their way to become them guys, they got hit. Boom. So, but if you don't do the things that they did at the beginning, you're not gonna get looked at. You're gonna get overlooked. They're gonna push somebody else ahead of you. Oh, you can't do what it takes. You can't do this. You can't do that. You know, so you almost in a lose-lose. Like you almost got to get through the fire. You know what I mean? Like you got to get through all the bad stuff to be able to become, you know, the top agents, the top coaches. You know, because on your way to becoming a coach, you got to do all the dirty work that the main coach is never going to be involved with.
And I think and that's and the grind is the grind. Like you're gonna have to grind it out, you know, to be where you want to do. But how do you make sure that you get that money and build up? Because a lot of times you see a lot of you know, opportunity out there for coaches and players, and it never hits back with us. It's like, okay, you know, university has done well, the coaches have done well. He's moved on from Middle Tennessee State on to Tennessee, and he's coaching well. Everybody's doing well. He's taking his staff with him. His staff goes there. They get coaching jobs in other directions. That's the key point. Is it the key? If we got more of these players to go to HBCUs, would that be a solution? Like if we could take all this talent and bring it back to the HBCUs and more of them playing there, and then HBCUs have television rights and things like that. Is that an answer?
I definitely feel like I definitely am a believer in that. Right? Is transferring that wealth to universities like that look like us, but at the same time, those same universities got their own player systems too, as far as in how they operate. But the thing that we're missing, and I actually think that there's some decent, you know, because I was telling everybody that Chris Dawkins reminded me of like a young Puffy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that type of pool. But what we have to do is we need more black leadership that can talk to kids at an earlier age about it. Like really, in essence, we're taking really the format has really been hip hop to some degree, where we've been able to entrepreneur ourselves a lot better. And you've watched them kind of spill over as agents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What LeBron and them are doing. But the reality of it is we have to be able to come out and talk to kids about who you're helping make money. And to do that, we have to be able to teach them that going into spaces where companies have people that look like us, that are going to represent us, that can be supported by us, is how we're going to change this game. Because once we do get the players signed and these teams are still paying them, are we going to be able to help them build their brands and be able to refund out of the community?
Yeah, I think rap, like you hit it like 100%. Is there so much? I know you were talking about when you're developing with Penwood, the Be the Brand campaign, where you're doing your own marketing and all the jobs that are outside of sports actually than playing. That's going to be the big key. And you think, looking at the adjustments that the NCAA is making now with letting players make money off their own identity, their own likenesses and stuff. Do you feel as though is that just pressure because, you know, the D League and what other people are saying, and other people are just not buying this amateurism anymore? They're not buying it. Like, look, it's too much money being made for people not to get a piece of the pie.
they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not like they've chosen to go down this path.
Yeah.
They're trying to keep it on an amateur level. They don't want to see people make money. They want to make money off of you. And so the reality of this thing is like we have to force them down a path. But it's all of the organizations. I mean, listen, I sit on an organization at the high school level. Like you look around the room and there's only me and maybe one other brother at the table. Like we have to realize that there are jobs, and we have to demand that these jobs have people that look like us and come from us. And the truth of the matter is, as you dropped, I appreciate you dropping to be the brand in the campaign, but are our schools representing it? Right? It's one of those things where we're happy with athletes helping us win, but we don't really want them to be the face. Yeah. And so that is the part where we have to do a better job of making our kids embrace education to the fact of being able to be smart. Yeah. Like understand how stocks work so you can be smart. Yeah. Like let's not just get good grades. We need you to be smart so that you can come out here and talk about things and have quality conversation. Right now, we use it in a format of like, I'm getting money, so I don't got to change. And so there's an internal aspect that we have to do as Black people too. But really on an outer level, we need to put pressure on people that don't really want to see it happen. And that's what we have. We have a lot of people that don't want to see it happen for us because they're living off of it.
Yeah, and I think, and the other aspect, when we talk about being the brand and moving forward with everybody, trying to make money and coming together. And the thing about it is, when you saw what Dawkins had, what Chris Dawkins had commented on, how everybody was just coming to the community to make money from the shoe agents, and he also
never saw any of those guys ever in your life. But all of a sudden, it's time for somebody to play ball. Now I'm starting to see what's coming here. Guess what? Because you need them so much, like you say you do, how about you pour some of this back into where they from?
Yeah, and that's the other the piece, because there's students that will be great for PR. There were students that will be great for marketing in your firm and technology and trainers and things along those lines. That where does their opportunity come from? Where is their line in to get a part of working for a university in that aspect, in that domain, and as we move forward, because we focus so much on the basketball piece, and but there's more to it. Like we said before, there's a whole lot of things. Like Chris Dawkins, at an early age, like he said, if you go back in the beginning of the documentary, after that first varsity practice, he was like, you know what, I'm not going to go to the pros, but what can I do? And what he can do is, like, I know talent, I know people that can play, I can work, I can organize. Where's that opportunity for me? So he had to create his own opportunity, because that wasn't there. And the only
last I saw, that's the American way. Yeah.
And the part about it is that he's a facilitator to the community. Like it's
a place. Listen, through all that what we watch, it's a place for him somewhere in somebody's company in the corporate world, because he was bridging gaps.
Oh, definitely.
He never stole anything from anybody. He was, trying to get paid for his services. That's what he was doing. He was bridging gaps. Last I checked, it's not a problem with that. If Sunni, you want to talk to a guy, you want to talk to a guy, Doug or Jonathan wants to talk to a guy, and I got the guy on speed dial, what's wrong with me saying, okay, for him to give you what you need, it's going to cost you $50,000. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Because what I'm going to give you is going to make you wealthy.
Access.
But yes, access. But it only costs you $50,000 to make $5 million.
And I go back to our favorite show, The Wire, when Marlo came to the prison to talk to the Greeks. My man Barksdale was like, "Yo, I'm kind of a big deal in here. Now, if you want to be able to get a line to the Greeks, because you want to cut the West Side, them Baltimore cats out, and you want to get the line, you want to put 100,000 to my peeps, and the next time you come in, it won't be me you looking at. You'll be looking at the Greeks. That's the game is the game. No matter what You know what?
And last I checked, if everybody's getting a piece of everything, everybody's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and
until it goes wrong.
Until it goes wrong, and then look, I'm gonna need to eat, and then who do you have to stand up by? But and that's the whole opportunity. And do you get the second and third chances? I'm a big believer because the guy who sold me my mother's car and my daughter's car was in prison for moving drugs. And he said he didn't snitch on nobody, became his own lawyer, got his sentence reduced, came out, ended up marrying somebody from the FBI. She had to take a job where she didn't have a gun because he couldn't be around guns, but he got another opportunity. And he's a big time seller.
Man. He's a bad man.
Because he can sell. If you can sell, you can sell. So, I mean, that's the whole opportunity that,
Once again, we go back to the American way.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the American way. And the thing about it, if you look at the scheme and the whole thing about it, I think it just brought up like the hypocrisy of the whole situation of all the NCAA and all this money that's being made via television and like you said, Duke, the money that's just thrown around, like to get a player, $100,000, $200,000 to get that star recruit on their campus is no big deal, and Adidas and Nike and all them for them to be able to wear our shoe is no big deal.
The thing for me in looking at, the grand scheme of things on a, from a low man to the middle man to the big dog on the top level, that it's a piece for everybody. That's what makes this situation beautiful.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If you got to connect to the player, and the player has to connect to the coach, and the coach has to connect to the university, it's enough money for everybody to eat.
Yeah.
So nobody feels left out. Right? If you got to connect to this player to talk to this coach, and you can get $20,000 cash for this player to go to this school, and that player can get $100K for going to this school, it's beautiful for everybody. Who lost?
Yeah, nobody lost.
Nobody lost. So it's big business.
And I think that's the whole point. Like we saw what big business is about and how big this is. I think the other issue was why the federal investigation. That's the whole point. And I think it was more about the federal investigation was more about ego of the FBI trying to make a splash, trying to get cats or whatever, because it didn't make any money.
Because they probably were poor.
The federal investigation came because they was told a lie for real for homie trying to get out of jail.
Yeah,
that's what it really came down to. He made this whole ball move. Like this didn't even the ball didn't even exist. He created this whole thing.
Yeah.
You say right?
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's why he got the fans got told a lie from the jump, and they bid on it, and then they got in too deep. They spent so much money and they didn't have nothing. They still ain't have nothing on what the money they spent from what we've seen. They didn't have nothing. So, and I think that's another reason why homie might have got pulled too, because you didn't spent all this money and we got nothing on nobody major. We got a couple black kids that's under people. We really don't have nothing. So I think that's why with the federal government, they got told a lie and they believed it, in order to let homie out. And he was gonna tell you anything. You just see he dropping movies on people's checks.
Yeah. And the funny is, I remember when this came down, we talked about it briefly on the show. It was like, oh wow, they didn't drop some bombs. They had made we got your playbook, the whole 9 yards. They was popping. I was like, oh, they really going. I was like, wow, I'm shocked that they really going to shut this thing down. It's been going on for years. You know what I mean? But now why? And then when you really look at it, it was like, this is. It really was a waste of time and a waste of tax dollars money.
Yeah, the best thing was Dawson dragging them out so long. He dragged them out and dragged so much money out of them. He pushed them further than they wanted to go with. But they wanted to figure this out in real short time. But he like, nah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this. I'm not doing that. By him not doing that, they thought they were gonna get the phone calls and everything was gonna start rolling that first year.
Yeah, but and it really didn't make sense to him because he knew paying the coaches was worthless. It didn't mean anything. Like the coaches trying to get paid coaches when they want to keep their star talent. This didn't make any sense. And he understood from the very beginning that this guy was flawed. But the interesting part was that the powers that be on the FBI really didn't take what he was saying serious. There was like, when he's telling them that the game isn't about paying coaches, that there's really nothing in there. It's like somebody came up with this, look, we got to make it work. You got to get in there and make him pay coaches. Like, that's the whole thing. That's what the vibe I got from me. It was like somebody had an idea. The idea wasn't what they thought college basketball was about, where the money was coming about, because the coaches are the big names. The coaches are the trophies. The coaches are the people you put up on your wall. I put Rick Pitino in a federal penitentiary. I put Sean Miller in a federal penitentiary. I got 15 months on Sean Miller. Those are the pelts that you put up on your wall when you're trying to move up in an organization. Like, nobody knows who Sunni Jennings is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Nobody knows who Duke is, Jonathan. Nobody knows who we are. Like, what you did what? And it took you how much money?
And we structured the money like hell.
We got
good on them.
They know who you are. It depends on how deep you're trying to go.
Yeah, exactly.
The FBI know who they are. He's saying the casual person don't know who they are.
I'm not going to get. You're not going to make no headlines bringing me in. Like, oh, you brought me in. Like,
you're not going to get that lead job.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean? You brought in Sunni Jennings. Okay.
Yeah, who is he? Where is he from? Huh?
Yeah, and that's the whole thing.
And we gave you a budget of $1 million to try to crack some guys, and that's all you come up with is Ron, Duke, and Sunni. That's it.
And plus you balled out on the Vegas tables. Like
that's the other part.
We can't forget the Vegas table.
The Vegas table, the rented yacht that he had. Like
you gambling with a witness at the table, losing funds.
Yo, I love the one.
That's too much.
I love the one person looked him up, man. He was like, "Hold on, I just googled this boy. I can't find him nowhere."
Yeah.
This John dirty, bro.
Yeah. He threw $50,000 on the table and rented the yacht to start the show.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's crazy what the lengths they go in order to pull somebody in or whatever, and what is the benefit when you look at the bottom line? If they did get Rick Pitino, what benefit is it to America? Like, what's the benefit, bottom line, that we would have got from getting them convicted? What dangers are off the street? What dangers are not affecting the community by indicting these guys?
Yeah, go ahead and get it in.
I'm gonna just say this last point that you said right there, and get ready to slide my way.
All right, yeah.
The issue is, in all these years, SMU was the only school that I could think of that got banned.
Yeah, got a death penalty.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're talking about the fact that all these universities are going to have alums that are in powerful positions who are not going to want to see their school get banned like that. And the reality is, you're playing the game by getting the coaches, because the coach gets replaced.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Until you decide that you're going to create this thing to make ball for everybody, there's going to be cheating.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. And they're not going to do that until somehow we can figure out a way through this maze. I'm not sure how we do it, but it starts by really us getting some people that can come give a better story and educate.
Cool, definitely. But fellas, on that note, we're gonna bail out Sports Talk Live for the culture. I'll remix this, re-edit it, and put it up, and we take a definitely good look at it. Thanks for everybody joining us. Doug had to pop out. Rap, thanks again for joining us. Definitely hit you up. We're always talking. And everybody be safe. COVID-19. And we out. Peace.
Yo. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Hold on.